Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gregory Bovid, and on behalf of the entire Midland Concert Band, welcome to this early spring performance, although I guess it feels a little more like early winter today. As always, though, it is so good to be here with you. As many of you know, the band kicked off our 46th concert season with an outdoor performance in Central Park back on Halloween. That was after an 18-month hiatus brought on by the pandemic. We were very excited to return to this stage on Thanksgiving weekend, and today we are ever so happy to be here once again. This afternoon's program includes many of our favorite pieces, compositions by the likes of Gustav Holst, Aaron Copland, Rafe Vaughan Williams, and John Barnes Chance. They've all become standards in the concert band libraries across the country. Now, before we start putting on the hits, I have two requests. First, if you have not already done so, would you please silence your phone? Second, and most importantly, please join me in welcoming to the stage the director of the Midland Concert Band, Mr. Joel Wiseman. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, would you please rise and join in singing our national anthem? Our program begins with a block of three great pieces for concert band. First Suite in E flat, Fate of the Gods, and a Copland tribute. Now, Gustav Holst was one of England's most prominent composers of the early 20th century. And of special interest to those of us here on the stage is the fact that Holst is one of very few British composers that have produced exceptionally fine works for the concert band. Of all these, our opening selection, the First Suite in E flat, is generally regarded as the cornerstone. You see, at the time of its writing back in 1909, First Suite was considered to be a revolutionary piece because it was written exclusively for wind band. In that era, concert band music consisted of reductions or transcriptions of pieces that were originally scored for orchestras. But Holst wanted to make the concert band a serious musical medium, and this piece was seen as the first step in that direction. The suite has three movements: chaconne, intermezzo, and march. Now moving on, Stephen Reinecke wrote our second selection, Fate of the Gods, in 2001. It is inspired by the story in Norse mythology of Ragnarok. The piece depicts a great struggle between good and evil, resulting in destruction of all things and the emergence of a new idyllic world in the aftermath. Now, if you're thinking this story sounds familiar, right down to that word, Ragnarok, there are two major cultural touchstones that may be making you feel that way. The first is Richard Wagner's Ring Cycle, especially the final opera, Götterdämmerung, which tells the Ragnarok story. And the second, of course, is the 2017 film Thor Ragnarok, which brings the idea into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with a little bit of humor. Our third selection today is Claire Grundmann's A Copland Tribute, and it's a collage of passages from the works of Aaron Copland. Grundmann masterfully created this arrangement in 1958 to honor Copland's 85th birthday. It contains a sampling from his most popular music, beginning with Fanfare for the Common Man. Next comes several passages of another celebrated Copland work, Appalachian Spring, and Grundmann's arrangement concludes with music from two dance episodes from the ballet Rodeo, Buckaroo Holiday and Hoedown. Well, to follow a Copeland tribute, we are going to leap across a veritable musical chasm. We're jumping from Aaron Copland, esteemed composer, to Alice Cooper, the father of shock rock. And as the music continues, we're going to give a nod to Spring Break, which is upon us, from 1972, with Alice Cooper's tune, School's Out. But don't worry, we're going to jump back across that chasm as the band performs variations on a Korean folk song. Now, this piece was composed in 1965 by John Barnes Chance, and he offered the following explanation of the inspiration behind it. Chance says, I became acquainted with the folk song known as Arirong while serving in Seoul, South Korea as a member of the 8th Army in 1958-59. The tune is not as simple as it sounds, and my fascination with it during the intervening years led to its eventual use as the theme for this set of variations. Chance has done a marvelous job of capturing the mystery, intrigue, and beauty of the Far East in this award-winning composition, and we think you're going to enjoy variations on a Korean folk song.
Well, I certainly hope you're enjoying yourself so far. I wanted to come out and have a chance to talk with you real quick. I always like to get a little bit of voice time in every concert. A couple of things. I'm super excited. I'm looking out in the audience. I was out and about a little bit before the show started. I think, I'm not quite sure, our youngest member is either 4 months or maybe just a little younger than that. and super excited to see so many new faces in the audience. So it's making my day. So I wanted to first say thank you to you, our audience members. Your willingness to be here, your excitement, your encouragement really means a lot to us as musicians, to myself as a conductor. It makes it a lot of fun being up here. So thank you so much. But I've got a few more thank yous. The last 2 years has been rough, to say the least. It's been rough on a lot of people. It's been really rough on 501c3s, nonprofit organizations like ours. Some of the estimates are that anywhere from a third to some dire estimates are a half of 501c3s either won't have made it to this point or will continue to have to shut their doors in the future. And that's not happening here. And so there's some big thank yous for that success. Band, I'm throwing a surprise at you guys. If you are currently on the board for the Midland Concert Band, will you please stand up? So these board members really burnt the midnight oil in the last 2 years. They went above and beyond. They did some wonderful things. Dave, can you raise your hand real quick? Dave, our president, really pulled a lot of strings organizing all of the collective efforts of the board and allowing them to do the things that they do best, but they had to go a bit above and beyond in order to make things work. It's been challenging. But this board, I've got to say, is one of the most incredible 501c3 boards that I think I've ever come across. One of the things that I get to brag about a little bit, the band in our upcoming concert, we're going to be giving out close to $11,000 worth of scholarships and what we're calling camperships, so sending middle schoolers to band camp. $11,000. And we've been doing that every year for, oh boy, since before I've been around, since, Dave, you said since before you've been around. So that's something this band has been consistently being able to do. Without the amazing leadership of the board, we wouldn't be entrusted with those funds, the funds that you've donated, the funds that other organizations in our community have donated. We wouldn't be entrusted with those in order to have the joy of giving those scholarships out. So huge kudos to this board that's pulled us through this very rough last 2 years. Now, one more favor to ask. If you have ever sat on the board for the Midland Concert Band for any amount of time, would you please stand up? We've got some audience members as well that are standing. So some wonderful people that have served for years to make this band such a wonderful organization, to make sure that this band has all the tools that it needs to have success. So to those people that have served for years, thank you. You have really done this community a good service. You've done this band a good service. And you've made me very happy to be able to serve you. So it's wonderful. If you are in the audience and you are considering helping out in some way, a couple of ways that donations are accepted. Specifically, if you've noticed, when we do scholarships, there's some scholarships that have names attached to them, people that have said, I would like to provide a scholarship. This band really does a wonderful job of putting those funds into the hand of high school students for scholarships and putting those funds in the form of campership scholarships to send middle schoolers to band camp. So if that's something you have an interest in, if you want to support the community in that way, we would be happy to hand those scholarships over to those students and enjoy that music-making experience with them. So we're going to continue with our concert with variations on a Korean folk song. We hope you enjoy, and again, thank you so much for being here.
As always, before we get to our final selection, there's a little business that we need to take care of. First of all, once again, on behalf of the entire band, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out this afternoon to join us. I say this after every concert, but the reason I say it is because it is ever so true. You, the audience, is what makes these shows so enjoyable for us. That became even more clear after being on hiatus for a year and a half. And once again, today we have had much more than our share of fun as we share this wonderful thing that we know as music. Special thanks are in order this afternoon to our ushers, our stage crew here at the Center for the Arts, and all those others who work behind the scenes. Thanks as well to the crew from MCTV for their fine work recording, producing, and broadcasting our performances. Finally, I want to extend a special invitation to all of you to attend our next performance. It's going to be on Sunday, June 5th, when we will be joined by our scholarship winners and our outstanding 7th grade musicians. As of today, we are planning to hold the concert at the Central Park Band Shell, weather permitting, of course. We're still working out the details, but once things are finalized, we'll be getting the word out through the media, as well as through our website and on our Facebook page, so stay tuned. Now, during the 1920s, Rafe Vaughan Williams, with his friend Gustav Holst, whom we just mentioned earlier in the program, cut the ties that bound English music to Germany and Italy. Instead of looking for good models on the European continent, these two young Englishmen decided to seek them at home in England's old past. It's been said that Vaughan Williams' music speaks of things English, but it also gives the English view of things universal. Now, Sea Songs, our next selection, is one of Vaughan Williams' simpler works. It was written for a British military band back in 1924, and the composer knew his English sailing songs. He used 3 in this composition: Princess Royal, Admiral Benbow, and Portsmouth. Vaughan Williams loved the folk heritage of his native land, and the band loves to play his music. In fact, this is the 8th time in our 46 seasons that we have played Sea Songs. And just an interesting side note, this was played at our very first concert on February 5th, 1977, a long time ago. Once again, thank you and good afternoon.
there's one thing missing from this concert. Do you have time for one more? No introduction on this one needed. Clap along when it comes time.